And we're back with round two. Round two has me paired against Reid Hattaway. Reid is one of the lowest seeds in the division. He's coming from the bottom quadrant out of four. And in round one, I was paired with somebody from the third quadrant, and I dropped that game, even though I was supposed to win it. So it'd be very big for me to pick up a win here against Reid out of the bottom quadrant, especially because in the next round I'm playing someone from the top quadrant. That's Ben Schoenbrunn. And he's a very solid player. I'm probably the underdog in that game. So I'd like to win this one so I don't feel like I have to win the next one or start 0-3 at a Nationals. Reid goes ahead and opens the game with Vatted vertically. Good job, Reid, for 28 points. And I drew into EGMNNOY. And I was secretly hoping, I was really hoping Reid would drop an I in his opening move because I know the word moneyed. And I figured, okay, well, money is a verb, so moneying must be good. I was shocked as I prepped for this video to realize that it is not a word. It just blows my mind. I've gotten away with that at least twice in games before. I think once in club, once in a tournament. So you learned it here. Moneying is not good. Moneyed is actually an adjective meaning rich or having much money. I do actually have a valid bingo that I could have been given. Sorry, it's my phone. I could have been given out of this rack, and that's monogeny, but I did not get the floating O that I needed. So I'm kind of stuck. There's a lot of different stuff you can do in this situation. Early game often feels like this, where it's like I've got a bunch of plays that all seem about the same. You can see just from Speedy Quackle without any simulation, the highest play is Anomy, and its valuation is 24 points, so it thinks I come out about 24 points ahead after that. But all the way down here, it's lower options. You can still see the valuation here is about 20 points. So it's such a small difference between big plays at the top and small plays down here. Sometimes you'll see the difference in valuation is 10 or 20 or 30 points apart, but this is just another one of those positions where there's all kinds of whatever stuff that mostly seems the same. Strong players will try and suck every single available point of equity up out of these turns and try and do smart stuff. Players might also take these turns to manipulate the board in a way that they want to see it manipulated. So me, as someone rated several hundred points higher than Reid, maybe I want a less volatile board, and maybe I'm able to do that with this position. I didn't find any plays that really stuck out to me. A Quackle simulation told me that I should probably play Mangy here, which seems super weird holding ENO. It's like you want to try and balance your rack a little bit better than that. But Mangy is pretty defensive. It doesn't really give Reid a lot of options to score points next turn, almost at all. So with the gift of hindsight, maybe that's the play I make. I was thinking more about my available opportunities next turn, and I elected to play Agony here for 18. And the reason why is because I'm able to set up my M on top and get some counterplays that way with my E, M, and leave. So Agony is what I decided to do, and Reid's going to come back and play ROO blank Like. He designated the blank a T. I was expecting it to be an F, but root-like and roof-like are both words. So he could have just kind of picked whatever he wanted there. And suddenly I'm down 111 to 18. Hooray. I picked up AEEGIMN, so AEGI draw into EMN leave. And if you want to pause the video and try and find a bingo here, it's a good bingo finding practice. I'll let you do that. If you want a hint, there are 3 available 8s. This rack actually only forms 3 8s, and I had every single floater I needed to make them in the right position to make them. So here they are. From the T, probably the highest probability of these, I have Geminate for 70 points. Using the L, I have Liege Man for 72, and right here through the D, I have Adeeming for 72. And you're blessed when you get to pick which bingo you want to play. I threw out Geminate because it scored the least. And I do want to try and open the board, so you might want to play Liege Man. I thought long and hard about playing Liege Man here, but it just seemed to give Reid too many easy counterplays. He can stack along the left side of it for 40 points super often. He can make a play from 14B, like a double word, triple letter type play, or of course he can go through the N and hit a triple word. And I just felt like I don't want to give Reid so many easy possibilities to get a bunch of points. So I played a Deeming here. A deeming actually has a couple nice qualities in addition to not, giving Reid as many big counter plays. It also sets up this bingo line here, which is something I want to do. I'm still an underdog in this game. I'm down 21 points and a turn. So I want to try and keep the board open and dynamic and bingo friendly. One terrifying thing about a deeming is QUA anything plays here for 100 points. But I'm just going to have to hope that that doesn't happen. And it did not. Reid comes down with Furry for 30 points and dodged a bullet there. So CEELMNO is my post bingo draw. And I've really just got two choices here. One I saw, and that's Mino, and one I did not see. And that's the double Colleen for 36. If you ask me, Colleen seems like a really, really solid play. And if I had seen the word, I would have played the word excitedly almost every single time. It scores 6 more. And yet, for whatever reason, Quackle still thinks Mino is slightly better a play. Maybe the CEL leave is balanced. Maybe I'm opening up a nice spot underneath Minnow for me to, hit some like row 11 plays. Maybe I'm blocking the QUAI possibilities. I'm not totally sure. I guess CEL also meshes really well with all of the floaters Root-like has for me, the R, the O, and the T. And so maybe my bingo chances are just a lot higher. You can see the details over there. MENO allows me to bingo about 15% more often than Colleen. But it still just seems weird to me. I guess I'm scoring 6 or 7 more points next turn after Minnow, and so that makes up for the 6 or 7 I'm giving up this turn for Minnow. Whatever, I wish I knew words like Colleen. Hopefully soon I do know words like Colleen. I do want to teach you one thing about that word MENO, though. If you look in Quackle, if you look in Ziziva, take a peek at the hooks over there, it takes none. MENO is an adjective. It's a musical term meaning less, and you cannot put an S on it. So now you know, or maybe you already knew that. Anyway, Minnow comes down. Reid is going to respond with ZOA. So I was super worried about the Q spot, and I turned it into a Z spot, and Reid hit it. It did actually pass through my head that there were no 100-point Z plays that I set up after Minnow. So Zoa is among the worst things that could have happened. I guess if he had played like FEZ in that same spot, it'd be a little bit more. But Zoa was kind of the worst case scenario there. And it did happen, but that's fine. The average opponent scores 35 or so per turn, so 50 is not really that big a deal. It's especially not that big a deal when you pull into ACDELLO, because you can bingo. There's actually 3 available options here if you want to take a second and try and find them, but one stands out well above the others, and that's collated. So that came down very quickly. I don't think I'm going to bingo through an L with 2 L's already. I thought about maybe local with 2 L's, but it's not even good with 1. That is just not a verb. So collated it was. Reid's going to come back with VAUS right there, making the new 2 MES, or the new 3 MES for 29, and I'm starting to lick my chops here. I know I'm down 30 points, but this board is getting very closed, and I do have a reputation as a closed board player that tends to be my preference. I have a little bit more control over games, and I feel like I can force my opponents to make more mistakes in those games. So I'm down 30, but it is my turn, and the board is starting to take the shape I want it to take, and I've drawn into AAINRRT, so pretty bingo-prone stuff. There's nothing available that actually plays here. And I probably played this turn too quickly. I played a Freet here for 24 points. There's not too much left to do on this board after a Freet. It's really tough to score points. You can't really score over here because of the placement of that C. You can't stack next to it. Maybe there are plays here through the R. Obviously, the X-bomb right here is big. TIX or XU or something of the likes will be a game changer if it comes down, but other than that, this board is dying. I'm holding bingo prone stuff, and if I'm able to hit one of the 2 remaining lines through the R or through the O with my bingo prone stuff, I'm a heavy favorite to win, and if not, we're getting close to 50-50 game territory. But a Freed is one of those plays that doesn't guarantee, but it sets up the game to turn into one of those, like, one of us is going to win this game by 20 or less type of plays. And I like making those kinds of plays, especially against lower seeds. But really, I should just play Varna or Varia here. And equity says these plays are much better. I am still down. Like, why not put floaters out there when I'm holding very bingo prone, and who knows what Reid is holding? I think Reid has to play ZOA out of that rack almost regardless of what his leave could be. So generally you want to assume that your opponent has a better than average leave because they're making plays to, keep good letters and get rid of the bad ones. But after Zoa, which comes, shortly after a bingo, and then VAUS, like he could have all kinds of stuff. VZUAA, like he might not have good tiles. I think I should just open the board here. I shouldn't be so greedy to try and shut it down. The sad part is I didn't even see Varia or Varna, much less consider them. I saw the F, I decided to block the F, I could score well through the F, and I just did it. And I need to slow down, and I need to, not just jump on opportunities to close the board because I can, but I need to tactically decide when and how I should do it. So bad job, Matt. Now things are getting really interesting because Reid plays FLOC for 17. I'm now only down 23 points. He's also created this dynamic, line to play a 6 down, maybe score 40 or 50 points there. But other than that, he's knocked out 2 bingo lines. I pull into AEENRWY, and something really strange happens now. So earlier in this game, it was right after Reid had played Roots-like. It was my turn. I was thinking about which bingo to play with the deeming, and Reid notices that the clock displays that I have 10 minutes and 0 seconds left, and he has about 6 minutes left. Obviously, that's incorrect. So we call the director over. Obviously, it's like a clock malfunction, or maybe we accidentally pressed that center button one too many times and started us both with 10 minutes per side and didn't notice. So John Robertson comes over and tells us, okay, we'll reset it to 25 minutes per side, but you each actually get 23 minutes. If either of you goes down under 2 minutes, that's going to count as a clock penalty, and we both agreed that seems fine and fair and whatever. Fast forward to this turn, we look back at the clock, and I show like 24 minutes and 20 seconds remaining, and Reid is down to like 8. So we call the director over again. We have no idea what's going on with the clock. And I put the pieces together very quickly. After the previous episode and then this one, Reid hadn't played a tournament in 4 years. The muscle memory of putting down tiles and stuff was gone to him. Reid was actually pressing the center button on the clock instead of the button on the end to signal the end of his turn. So Reid starts the game with Vatted, and then instead of starting my clock, he pushes the middle button, which set the clock from 25 minutes per side to 10 minutes per side. And then I kept starting Reid's clock, but he would never start mine. He would just pause it every time he made a play. It was really distracting. It was also really funny. And I don't remember exactly what we decided to do because neither of us really had any issues with time this game. We were both playing pretty fast. But it was distracting, to say the least. And also funny. I've never seen anything like that. Division 1 at the National Championship. And like, we both can't figure out how to use a clock correctly. This was an interesting turn. I really didn't see any reason not to play Weary here. It addresses really the only big important spot on the board that isn't the X-Bomb. It plays off 4 tiles to try and draw the X-Bomb. Many people might make a play like Dewey, but I just hate doing stuff like that. AENR on a board where there aren't bingo lines is just suicide, right? Like, oh yeah, I get to score 15 next turn and keep fishing for a bingo that will never go down, but maybe my opponent will play down from the V, and then I'll get to bingo through his letters. Woo! Like, I don't know. I just... Weary is a better version. You score another point, you don't keep as many 1-point tiles, and maybe after Weary I can force Reid to make a play along the 2 row on top of it, and then I can crush that triple word above it. So I decided to go with Weary pretty quickly. I don't think there's anything wrong with that play. Reid comes down with TIP. So he's going to go ahead and address that triple letter square. There's no more X-Bomb possibilities. He put down the I first, and I thought for sure I was getting bombed, and I was so sad because in round 1 I got bombed a couple times. Here I'd already gotten bombed by Zoa, and now I'm going to get bombed by the X. But it wasn't the X. In fact, I have the X. But Tip came down pretty quick before I could even pick up my tiles. So there we go. Drawing the H is actually huge right here because the board sucks. There's nowhere to score. But now I've got this H, and the H plays underneath MES, And mesh doesn't take an S or anything. Both Y's are gone for meshy, so I can score quite a few points and not really worry about giving a lot back. There's really just two plays to make there. There's hex and there's hint. Ultimately, I went with hint. I scored a lot less here. The reason I chose to do that is because hex gives up just stupid points to my opponent all the time. And if you look at the unseen pool, there are 5 I's and 2 U's unseen out of just 34. So Reid probably has a counterplay underneath there. And I've got great stuff. I've got the H and the X. The H is really important on this specific board. The X is a good tile for a closed board in general. And I don't want to play those off for 31 and give my opponent a free rack cleaning 31, because there's a good chance he's got doubled or even tripled I's here. So I decide to play hint. I also maybe can draw into X plays underneath hint if I pick up a U, so that was part of the consideration. Quackle told me I'm being just a little bit too cute about that. I ran this sim for quite a bit, and it put hex still about a point ahead. You can see it's starting to converge on those values again, but it says, just go ahead and grab 12. 12 is a lot of points to sacrifice to avoid giving your opponent a cheap play. Plus, hint puts that S hook out there, which might get hit hard. I don't have an S, and he might. So probably a small mistake by me there, although I'd like someone really smart, maybe 2000 or something, to tell me what they think is right and why. Hint is what I elected to do, and Reid comes down with QI for 16. So I just keep getting lucky that Reid isn't able to score almost anything on this board. I mean, it's not really luck because the board is just not conducive to scoring, but even still, 16 points, that's fantastic. I pull into EGIRTUX, and I think there's almost nothing to discuss about this turn. You just play XU. XI is just a crappy version of XU with a worse leave, so we'll go ahead and play XU here. Reid drops POH up here. I don't know what his actual rack was. Quackle just happened to give him those 4 tiles, but that was really sad for me to see, because after that play, I've got AEGIIRT. I have nothing to go above that P. You can look in the pool, there's 1 O and 1 U unseen, and that's it, but I don't have either one. I don't have any plays up there. So I'm kind of forced to decide, do I want to do something terrible like TOW to try and limit Reid's plays up there? Was Reid even setting up an O or a U? This board sucks, so maybe he's just scoring points, and the only place he can see to score points, though I think with POH he's probably got some plays through this C over here. I'm in bad shape, right? I'm losing, and my opponent's got probably 30 or 40 points coming next turn. So I like finally to give it up and open up the board that I worked kind of hard, in fact, overly hard to close. Vigia just scores 30 points. It holds ERT. There's really no reason to do anything else here, and I need to open the board. So Vigia is what comes down, and then this is probably the stupidest thing. Oh. This is probably the stupidest thing I do over the first 2 days of the tournament. Reid is going to play Wingbats. And Wingbat scores 63. It knocks out the bingo line. My counter rack right now to this bingo is EEJRRST. So I really can't do a lot in response. I would probably have to bingo back after Wingbats to win this game. So I hold Reid for a very long time. And I'm very frustrated because I know out of the rack ABINGTW, there's a 7. I cannot remember if it's Bat Wing or Wing Bat. I do remember that Reid had a reputation as knowing a lot of words. And I am very, very, very rusty at words. Over and over and over, I'm going to make word knowledge mistakes this tournament. I'm going to be chickening out of all kinds of stuff. It's going to be really bad. You're going to laugh at me. But I held forever. And then finally, I decided, Reid wouldn't screw this one up. Reid also coffee-housed something. He's like, I guess, or something like that as he put it down. And I hate when people coffee-house, because in my entire life, I don't think I've ever correctly challenged when they coffee house me. It's always good, always. So that kind of got in my head psychologically as well. Just a bunch of different stuff, and I decided to let it go. But this is so stupid. When your opponent plays a word you're unsure of, and it gives them 90+% chance to win the game, challenge it. I basically can't win after wingbats when I'm holding EEJRRST. Challenge it. I don't know this word. And of course, it's not good. The word is batwing, and batwing is actually... batwing is actually an adjective, so you can't even put an S on it. So there are no valid things. And part of the issue I was having too is like, or having with this play too, is like, well, he's just going to play bat wings or something next turn, and I'm going to have to try and figure out how to block with my bad rack. I don't know. So it was stupid. I got in my own head. I really have to challenge this word if I want to win this game. And instead I decided to cut spread. It was stupid. It's so stupid. I warned you coming into the video that this is stupid. And then I'm so distraught here. I don't even notice the possibilities that I can play Jester at 010, making HENTS for like 51 points. Now, Jester's probably not going to win me the game. It empties the bag, and then when you're tied and the bag gets emptied, Reid is almost definitely going to win that end game. You can see that Quackle thinks, you know, I'll win maybe 12% of the time. It was 15% last time I clicked on that button. So I'm probably not winning no matter what, but I just lost it. Like, the wheels came off completely. I decided to play eject for like literally no good reason. Reid is going to finally hit this spot up here, and I'm dead. I draw BEIORRS, which is a column 7, I believe. Brozier is good. I didn't even see Resorb over here. Reid is going out no matter what next turn, though. He's going to play teased or eased and ejecta. Or teased, or he's got eased here. So I just need to score as many points as I can right now. And of course, Resorb is the way to do that. And of course, I'm just playing like an absolute monkey right now. So I was unable to do that. I played Sorb to knock out ejecta and eased, but just get more points, man. I lost 2 spread points because of that. And I'm like, it's a huge deal, but it is still stupid. And Reid is going to go out with teased up here. So this is not the start I was looking for at Nationals. I am now 0-2. I've lost to 2 players who are rated quite a bit lower than me. And I have to go play Benji, who's been over 2,000 in the next game. I'm not even playing well. I let a phony bingo go when I shouldn't have let a phony bingo go. Not good. Not good. But hopefully I can turn things around later on in the tournament. Spoiler alert, I will. Anyway, thanks for watching me stumble my way through this game and give it away on a silver platter. Stay tuned for more.